Hi 6th graders, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking again at proportions, although this time is all about solving proportions. By the end of this lesson you want to be able to solve proportions to find missing values. Alright, first let's look at a situation where a department store is selling flip-flops for $5 a pair. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try all these on your own and then see how you do. So number 1 is asking how many pairs can I buy with $20? How about 25? How do you know? Hopefully you said that you can buy 4 for 20 and 5 for 25. And you might have several ways that you did this. You might have made a table where it was 1 pair for 5, 2 pairs for 10, 3 pairs for 15, 4 for 20, 5 for 25. Or you might have said that you could do $20 divided by 5 and 25 divided by 5 and find an answer that way. However, as number 2 states, we can also write a proportion to express the relationship between the cost of 1 pair of flip-flops and then the cost C of 7 pairs of flip-flops. So if 1 pair of flip-flops costs $5 and it's a constant rate, we want to know how many 7 pairs of flip-flops would cost for C. So if you notice, on the top we keep it consistent. I have 1 pair of flip-flops, 7 pairs of flip-flops, and on the bottom we have the cost. Cost $5, and then here would be C. That would be writing the proportion. So we want to know how much it would cost to buy 6 pairs of flip-flops. Well, there's several ways you could do this. I could set up a proportion that 1 over 5 is equal to 6 over C. And then I could look and say, well, 1 times 6 is 6, so then 5 times 6 would be 30, so C would equal 30. I could also go back to my original table up here, and since I knew 5 was 25, add another 5 for 6. So when you find an unknown value in a proportion, you are solving the proportion. So that's what we were doing right here. Let's look at a couple of different examples where we're doing equivalent fractions. If 4 out of 7 students say that they prefer pizza to tacos, how many students would we expect to prefer pizza to tacos out of 35? So if 4 out of 7 say they prefer pizza, we want to know how many x out of 35. And with proportions, we always want to keep it consistent. So here when it said out of 7 and out of 35, I kept it consistent that both of those numbers are on the bottom, and the other number went on top. Now we want to go ahead and solve this. Well, if you're using equivalent fractions, I know that 7 times 5 is 35. So to keep it as an equivalent fraction, I can do 4 times 5, and I know that x is equal to 20. So 20 people out of 35 would prefer pizza to tacos. Alright, so why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try the next one on your own. If 7 out of 8 dog owners give the dog a bath once a month, how many dog owners out of 16 would give their dog a bath once a month? So once again, we have 7 out of 8, and we want to know how many, and you can use any variable, I'm going to use x, out of 16. So once again, if I use equivalent fractions, times 2 times 2, so I would expect x to equal 14, so 14 dog owners to give their dog a bath once a month. Another interesting thing about proportions is something called cross products. Cross products mean that two quantities are proportional only if their cross products are equal. So what that means, if I have two quantities, so A over B is equal to C over D, they're only proportional if they're cross products. So in this case, A times D, because product means multiplication, is equal to B times C. So if 2 out of 3 students have a computer, how many students out of 9 have a computer? So 2 out of 3, and we want to know how many x out of 9. So once again, we could use equivalent fractions, because I could say 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 3, so x would equal 6. But another way we could check this is actually doing our cross products. So in this situation, I would take 2 times 9, and that would have to be the same thing as 3 times x, or in this case we found x equals 6. 2 times 9 is 18, 3 times 6 is 18, so that does work, so they are proportional. Why don't you go and pause the video and try the next one on your own. There are 810 calories in 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream. So how many calories did I eat if I had 7 scoops of vanilla ice cream one night? So I'm going to set up my proportion. And remember, proportions can be set up any way as long as you are consistent. So you might set yours up differently. So there's 810 calories in 3 scoops. Since I put the scoops on the bottom, I have to put scoops on the bottom again. So 7 scoops, and I want to know how many calories. Now if you notice, this one's not quite as nice because nothing times 3 that I know of equals 7 directly. So I can actually use the cross products. So I know that 810 times 7 has to be the same thing as 3 times x. So if I do 810 times 7, I get 5,670 calories. And that's going to be the same thing as 3 times x. Well, if you think about it, because it's 3 times x and I want to kind of work backwards, what I can end up doing is splitting that 5,700 or 670 calories by 3, so dividing it by 3, and that would give me 1,890 calories is equal to x. So there'd be 1,890 calories in 7 scoops of ice cream. Don't forget to leave a question on Edmodo when you're done with this, and we will go from there.